This
And,
conference will now be recorded.
And I thought it was better if you share also same time your content, the labels, that we can see what you were going to cover and what you have in this course. Maybe we can add something, or we can see, oh, you don't add.
Yes. I will be sharing my screen, and you will be able to see what all topics we will be covering.
Before that, let Arpita also go with her introduction. Then Mani, you can go ahead. Okay, Arpita, please go ahead. Arpita.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Arpita. I have 9 years of experience in plain ABAP, and I don't have any idea on the HANA ABAPs, and I want to move to HANA ABAP. So that's why looking for joining this course.
Okay, fine. Okay, so let me share my screen.
Yeah, that's it, Mani. You can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So first we will start with the basic. Okay. And then the course content is planned in such a way that we cover the basic part also. And on the ABAP side, we cover the ABAP, OOPS objects, WebDin Pro, Adobe Forms, all those points we cover it. And then because few things have not changed into ABAP on HANA as well. Means they are still the same people are working on ABAP on HANA 2020 in the similar fashion as they were working on the ECC side. Okay. So starting with the things, let me start with the slide. First of all, let me how to remove this. Anything specific you both guys are looking means anything specific means which you want any topics to be covered definitely in this as a part of training. Means let me walk through what all topics we will be covering, and if you think still more topics needs to be covered, let me know. We can share discuss and take it that way. Okay. So currently we were working on the ECC. Let me tell you the journey of SAP. SAP was started by 4 engineers who were working in the IBM, and in 1972 it got started. So earlier it was only a black box, means where people used to write a code and there was no screens at all. But with the ECC coming into picture, so we have a GUI based transactions. We have internal tables, data dictionary. So Hans, are you aware of these terms, internal table, data dictionary, report, screen programming, ALE docs?
Yes, I know.
Okay. So with the coming of the SAP, if you have any doubt, you can ask, please feel free to ask in between. No worries for that.
Sure.
Arpita,
Sure.
I think she should be knowing. She has already 9 years of experience in plain ABAP. So I assume these things are not.
Yes.
Arpita, but if you want something to be asked, please feel free to ask.
Yes.
So we have with the evolution on SAP, we were into internal table data. Majorly the topic is that we came to a GUI based system. And when it comes to HANA, so they have, as all the technologies were transforming, so SAP also thought of transforming themselves. So they brought a ABAP on HANA with a Fury as a front end. Okay. So when we work on a ABAP on HANA, there are different tools like HANA Studio, inline coding. Inline coding is something which has come before also, but mostly in ABAP on HANA systems, we use inline coding only. Okay, CDS views, AMDP. So we will be covering all these topics in detail. Inline coding, CDS view, AMDP. Modeling will be covering if we get a right setup. OData will be covering in detail. So all these topics will be covered in detail. Okay, let me start. So let me start with what is ERP. What is the difference between Java and ERP? So Hans, did you know what is the difference between Java and ERP? Is why you want to move into ERP?
Actually, I want to make some automation with SAP. SAP. So that's why. So I have knowledge with Java and RPA UiPath, Selenium. So I like to do some automation in SAP.
Okay. So I will tell you in detail, right? ERP is enterprise program model, right? Enterprise means when you are working in some organization, there are different teams, okay, where data flows from one team to another team. So SAP provides the integration of different modules, like there is a sales module, there is a material module, there is a order module, PP is there, there is a WM module. So all this integration comes at one place. That is, it is called as ERP. Okay. So ERP, when you work on Java, you go and create a standalone applications, right? And you are not worried about means different departments. But when you work on ERP, there's a flow of data from multiple departments, and we have to it's help into running an organization at one place. If we go for a Java, then we have a standalone application where we are building a web UI, where we are integrating with a different database. But there is a one application, right? In ERP, we are flowing a data from sales to material management to procurement to warehouse management. So that is an enterprise. This is integrated at a one place. Okay, then there are different questions. Who can learn this module ABAP? So we have answers to each of these questions. So let me pull through the next slides. It will answer all your questions and all your things. Okay, so enterprise resource planning, as I said, that ERP is something where all things are integrated: project management, purchasing, supply chain, manufacturing, finance, CRM, sales and marketing in real time. Means everything, every transaction. Suppose how does an organization run? So you might be manufacturing something, but you need some raw materials, so that you have to procure from some different vendors. So that comes into purchasing. Okay, so that's a part of purchasing. When you have created the end product, you want to you have to sell it to a customer, then it comes to sales and marketing. Okay, then there's an invoice that comes into finance. Okay, then there's HR department. See, means you are running an organization, your pay slips, all things, how should they be integrated at one place? Then HR. So these all modules are tightly integrated, so that's why it's an ERP, enterprise resource planning. Okay, is this point clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So what is SAP? SAP is a full form is System Application Pro. So this is a full form, means nowadays nobody asks honestly. Okay, but it should be known to us what is SAP. We don't say it SAP. SAP is something, has a different meaning in German, but when we say it, as we generally say SAP. Okay, so System Application and Products in Data Processing is a complete full form, and it was started in 1972 in Germany. So this is a theoretical, bit of theoretical to start with. Then we will be doing a practical more or less in every session. Okay. So it's a headquartered at Waldorf, Germany, and it has 4,25,000 customers in over 180 countries. So currently, SAP is at a #1 ERP. So there are multiple ERP, PeopleSoft, Oracle, Bain. So there are multiple ERP which has come before SAP. Okay, but currently SAP has dominated the market, and it has a maximum number of customers, and they are why they are just choosing SAP, because of its tight integration with different modules, which I told you, like this one. It has a tight integration with every module: sales, finance, CRM. Okay, so this is the reason SAP is the most preferred one among all the ERPs. Okay, so then there's a different architecture. This we'll be discussing in next slides in detail. It's a 3-layer architecture: presentation, application, database. Okay, I will be discussing this in detail. Who can learn this ABAP language? So ABAP, according to me, ABAP anybody can learn. Okay, it's initially the terms used in ABAP is little new, like internal tables, like the table name like Mara, VBAC. So these terms are new, but once you get into the hold of these things, you can definitely, it's very easy than Java, because it is not that much changing. Once you have learned that these are the tables, how to access those tables, these are the transactions, it is an easy to work on. After, means it requires 2-3 months of effort to understand what is going on, why these names, why these transactions, why not directly going and executing the code. But once you are adapted to it, it's easier than Java. what I learned, because I have also gone through Java trainings earlier and was a Java developer, but when I turned to ABAP, so it took me 3 months to understand different naming convention, but once it's adopted, it is very easy. So person who is looking towards running an organization, understanding the process, business process, should choose SAP and should choose ABAP to grow in an organization. Means ABAP helps you to integrate things. Okay, in SAP everything is built on ABAP only. Okay. So person with a programming knowledge can easily learn ABAP program. So there is no issue in person who is having a background, because logic remains same, only syntax changes, only the process changes, only the understanding of that integration changes. Logic remains the same. If you are, when I say logic, if you are printing a Fibonacci series in a Java, same logic, you know that how to create a Fibonacci series, but it will have a different syntax in ABAP. Output will be same, so expectation will be same, but it can be done in ABAP also. Okay, but ABAP is not a standalone Java application. ABAP is where you are integrating different modules of an organization so that the organization can work efficiently and progressively. Okay, so guys, if I am speaking fast, please let me know. Is this speed okay, or you want me to
okay.
little Hans?
It's okay.
Okay, it's okay. So why is ABAP used? So I told you that there are different modules in ABAP. So majorly when on a higher level management, what does management want to see? How many sales has been done? How many from where the purchase has been done? Who are the vendors who are selling the things at low cost? What is the margins we are gaining? So these all kinds of reports they want to see at one place. So ABAP is a language where you can build these reports like purchase order reports, sales order reports, production order. So every kind of reports you can build in, and that can help the management to take quick decisions. Okay, mass changes and mass updating. Mass changes means you have suppose you have a lot of data where you want in a Excel, you want to change it to ERP. So real-time processing on a real, what does why SAP is choose? Because of real-time processing. Once your data is transferred to the tables in the SAP, then you can real-timely change them, change the data in those tables and update them. So there are different function modules and BAPIs which help to change the data and update them on a real-time basis, so that every decision every reports when they are fetched on a real-time data. Suppose you have done the sales of 1000 crores, so you need that customer whom you have sold to be updated, the finance team has to be updated. So all those things are updated on the real-time basis. That's the reason it helps in mass changing and mass updating on a real-time basis. Okay, GUI screen. So if you want to create means now we have a Fury, but earlier what happens, it used to be we used to create a SE38 screens, module pool screens. Okay, so that helps to means customize the business demand. Suppose standard SAP has given a report where we are only able to see a data from sales order header and sales order line item, but you need some data from some third table also. Okay, then you can create those screens or create the custom code and give that report to your management. You can, if you run this code with this variant or something, it will show you what is the required data you want to see. Okay, so we have a different operations we can do in the SAP: create, delete, change database table. These are the different operations we can do at the SAP. Okay, so is this point am I clear till this point? Should I proceed?
Yeah, can I ask you one question?
Yes, please.
You mentioned about the Fury.
Yes.
This is separate tools, and how long is the course for that?
So earlier, Hans, there was a tool WebID which got deprecated recently. Means last year that got deprecated. Means SAP is no longer supporting. When I say SAP is no longer supporting, that means that the customers which are using WebID, they will be getting support from the SAP. But the new customers, they are given a new editor, that is a Business Application Studio, BAS. So there are two things in Fury. Fury has earlier the Fury was a Java. Person who knows Java, they used to take the Fury as a front end, because it's a open UI kit which they can use and create a Fiori screens. Okay, but they have to integrate with the OData in the backend from the SAP side. Okay, but now SAP has come with the Fiori elements as a concept. So as of today, the Fiori application can be prepared by two ways. One is you need a Fiori developer and a backend developer. Okay, backend developer will be a SAP developer. Fiori developer will develop the screens and utilize those URLs in his screens. Okay, but as of today, with the HANA and RAP programming into picture, so they have given Fiori elements. So they are data annotations to which you don't require a full-fledged Fiori developer. You can create a Fiori application using a Fiori elements. So now your answer to your question, if you are looking for a Fiori full-fledged Fiori course, then it will be around 30 to 40 hours of course. Okay, where you will be learning all the Fiori UI, all the things, all UI elements and everything. But as of today, if you know CDS views and you know Fiori elements, you can create Fiori application without knowing and full-fledged that open Fiori. Have I answered your question, or you have any more doubts?
Yes.
Got it? Okay. So Fiori element has come into picture last year. Last year they have come into picture, and the people who knows ABAP, they can now go ahead and create a Fiori application using Fiori elements. Okay. And they don't need to learn the full Fiori, what is manifest.json, and these things they don't have to learn now. Okay, earlier they used to create views and all those things, but XML views and all those things, but with the evolution to Fiori elements, these things are no more required as of today. Okay. So what will be your role in ABAP? I think Harpita might be knowing. So I will tell you what is your role in ABAP. Means you are a ABAP developer. So there is a functional team. Functional team, when I say, then that team is either a sales team, either a purchase team, either a finance team, either quality team. Any team they can be. I told you SAP is an integration of different modules. Okay. So what will they do? There is a business running. Suppose a paint manufacturer is manufacturing a paint. Okay, so he knows what kind of business has to be done. So there will be a business team. Okay, first it comes a business team. Business team gives the requirement to the functional team that I need this kind of report to ease my work. Okay, and then business team gives requirement to layman terms. They will not tell you the tables. They will not tell you anything. Okay. Then the functional team work comes. Functional team will dig into the SAP system, take out the tables, take out the transaction, take out the feasibility, what can be done. Okay. Once they have, they will create a functional specification. We call it as functional specification. Once functional specification comes, they will reach out to the ABAP developer to check the feasibility, whether what they have chosen is right and is it feasible to in the ABAP system or not, in the SAP system or not. So that there comes your work. You have to understand the functional specification, give them the timelines, tell them the feasibility to if it can be achieved, and what all things you require from them. So your role is to understand the business requirement in the functional terms. Okay, so functional will be your counterpart at every point of time who will support you to prepare the complete development. Is this point clear? So this is what we have written. Your role in ABAP is to understand the functional requirement from functional consultant or business scenario and build reports. And there are different means ABAP has a different set of things. There can be reports, there can be module pool, there can be print forms, there can be smart forms, there can be scripts which they require. They can be webbed into applications. They can be Fiori applications. Okay, so SAP gives you multiple ways to show the data. Okay, or to process the data. This is the terms I have taken name. This helps them to show the data. When I say process the data, we have idocs, proxies, where we are processing the data, means we are updating the database table and working on it. Okay. So this explain the end user how to work on screen and how it gets updated into a database. So this is once you develop the applications, so you will have to majorly this work is done by functional, but functional are sometimes not knowledgeable enough, so you have to guide them that when this button is pressed, then it goes to this database table and it updates these records, or when this button is pressed, it goes to the next screen and displays those things. Okay, add new enhancement to the existing thing. What is enhancement mean? SAP has given you a product, means SAP has given you a basic product to any of your clients. Okay, but that basic product does not allow you to complete the business requirement. So when the basic product does not allow you to complete the basic requirement, you have to enhance the basic product. Enhance means you have to do your part of coding to give them what they require. Okay, so enhancement is something where the ABAP has a crucial role, means they have to find the enhancement points, bodies, okay, where to code, and they have to achieve that code so that it does not impact the whole system. So there are multiple type of enhancements: implicit, explicit, bodies, enhancement spots. There are multiple types of ways which SAP has given, exits, customer exits, user exits, to enhance their SAP product as per your business requirement. So this is a very crucial role where we, means as an ABAPer, you have to do here. And you can get jobs in so SAP. You have already seen that there are a lot of customers with SAP. So you can have two kind of roles in SAP. Either you are working in some consulting company, so you are a consultant, means the client has taken a product from SAP, and then for maintaining the same or for customizing, they have chosen your company as a partner. Okay, so companies like consulting like Infosys, TCS, so these companies are the consulting companies where the client has chosen them as a partner, either because of cost, either because of technical expertise, either because of their execution. So there can be multiple reasons, right? So few companies are known good for their execution. If I can say Deloitte is good for execution, means they, what I have heard, that they deliver the projects well on time. Okay, companies like TCS, Infosys are good in the maintenance part or a change request part, where you have our changing requirement, you go to them and they have a good model of good financial model and they support you. So instead of taking the support from SAP side, they reach out to different companies. So these companies will then hire an ABAP consultant to support. So to be very honest on this ABAP part, ABAP is the baseline of everything, means there is a pyramid. So ABAP is at the bottom of the pyramid. When everything else has no solution for things, means if the requirement does not have a solution from the functional side, from the business side, then there is no option left with them to reach to ABAP. So ABAP is the baseline for SAP, means bottom, and we are at the bottom. Means you will see the scenarios where, means you will not able to conclude why they have reached to you, means because when they are clueless on the top, functional business is clueless, functional is clueless, so they will definitely ask for ABAP support. So ABAP is the, in every project, if you see functional will be 4, then ABAPer will be 12. Okay, so there will be a lot of demand for ABAPers in every project, because ABAP is the main thing they have to reach when they have no solutions at all. Okay, so it's a good scope in either consulting companies, either big fours, or either the domain companies like manufacturing. If you are in a manufacturing company or you are in the pharma company, so the product SAP is into many companies, so you can work as a SME into the core companies like domain company, pharma companies like Linde, pharma companies like Novartis, on all these things you can be a SME role. Okay, so this is where you can get jobs in the company. So am I clear till now, or do you have any doubts? Anything?
No.
Okay. So prerequisite to learn ABAP is ABAP on HANA. We will suggest to have a ABAP course, but since if you want to have a, means a basic of things, we can have a refresher session, or Naveen can share you some slides on the basic ABAP course also. So we are also planning to have some sessions for a review, means for a refresher on ABAP. And the main thing which I think is required is the programming knowledge. That is the utmost thing, and programming knowledge and your hard efforts to learn the things, because Initially at that for 2-3 months, it will be very difficult for means you will have some reservations, but after 2-3 months you will find it very easy than Java. Okay, so there is nothing like in Java we have classes and we go on finding things out of classes, but here we also have classes, but it's not that rigorous. Means we don't have that pointers concept, we don't have those pointers concept and everything here. Okay, so HANA. Now we will come on HANA. HANA, what is HANA? So earlier we have an ECC system, so let me explain this slide little to you little later. Let me first go to this. So HANA is something where there's a in-memory computing, and they have changed this architecture to row storage and a column storage form. So what does HANA change? HANA is your software modification, your hardware modification. It consists of both software and hardware. So hardware, when I say to RAM, so everything now is in memory. So every calculation, everything is done at the RAM level. When I say software approach, then we say software changes, we say it has come with a new new paradigm where you can create a column oriented tables. Earlier what happens in the ECT, you were only able to create a row oriented tables, so that were not that much give that speed. When we go into HANA, we can create a column oriented table. So this concept of what to choose, row based storage or column based storage, is also dependent on the scenarios. Means you cannot go ahead and blindly choose column oriented approach while creating your tables. There are scenarios where you have to choose what kind of data and has to be in the table, and based on that scenarios you will be choosing the column storage or a row storage. So we have covered this part, when to choose what, in the latest slides. I will walk you through. Now let's coming to this slide. So HANA is a high performance analytical application. When we say high performance, earlier what used to happen, that we have the calculation used to happen at the application layer. You don't used to happen at the database layer where the data is fetched. As of now, when we say in memory, so they have increased the RAM size and they have done the computing at the memory level. Means they at the RAM level we are fetching the data and we are doing calculation at that level. So that is much faster than a earlier approach. So when we say what changed into HANA, so it's a combination of software plus hardware. And software means that earlier row storage was there. Now we have a column storage option also. We have compression techniques also. So these things have added to the software part. And when we say hardware, we have increased the RAM. We try to do maximum thing at the database level, either not bringing to the application layer. Is this slide clear?
Yes.
So so this is a basic of S4HANA. When it got started, means earlier they started with cloud computing, then in SE launched S4HANA. So I will tell you in the basic what happens. So earlier what happened, when means it's not related to this slide. This is only a chronological order when that SAP comes with the what things. So earlier we were having only SAP 4.6. Okay, I think we have covered it in the other slides. Let me go through slide. I will explain you everything. So this is a chronological order, means I don't think this is as useful, because this is nobody asked during the interview, but this is should be known that what was earlier when what it should have come. Okay. So this was like 2015 that launched S4HANA and these things. Okay. So now how does the versioning depend? So when you see SAP HANA, so you see the version 1709, 1809. Currently, I am working on the system which shared by Naveen, that is 2020. So earlier what used to happen, the year and month they were using to launch the SAP HANA versions. Everything launched after 2010, they have, SAP has tried to make it HANA compatible. Means if you see the standard SAP package, so they are growing on a regular basis, means they are updated on a regular basis. So when they started, they were only having 4 to 5 applications which can run on the HANA platform, standard application. Now if I see, there are around 100 plus applications which are running on standard application which are running on HANA platform, and still they are incrementing each year. Now earlier the versions were, so are you clear on this versions, or means Hans, you are clear? Means 1709, 1809.
Yeah.
So when SAP comes with a new product, it gives that a version. SAP HANA 1709. 17 is a 2017 they launched it in the 9th month. Okay. And 1809 means this the system you are working in, it's a 2018 launched in the 9th month. Arpita, you are clear on this, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what this is what which I have talked about, that HANA is a memory database column store. So it does all type of things, online analytic processing and online transaction. Analytical processing means is a like a reporting, means like you are creating a BW transactions and giving that to the management to take quick decision. That is analytical processing. You have a data, you are doing some analysis and give them graphs and all those things. So that is analytical processing. Online transaction processing means you have created a sales order in real time and you are creating a purchase orders in real time. That is OLTP. Means everything is happening at a real time in one system. So OLAP and OLTP, it supports both HANA memory database. Okay. Earlier, what you used to have, it's data is stored in the main memory later on. Earlier, what I told you is earlier it was on the disk at the database level, but now they have introduced the hardware like RAM and so every data is on the main memory. Okay, so this storing data in main memory is a performance, and it has means SAP HANA system comes with a cost. Is if you say now why customers are not adopting S4HANA so soon, or why this transition time is taking, because one of the factor is a cost. S4HANA comes with a cost, means they have, if they are giving you a more RAM, so it has a higher cost. Okay, and when you earlier it was a database levels, you can go and take any database and you can perform ECC or that SAP work. But as of now, with the database into picture, so it's a costly. So that is one of the reasons why transition is taking time, because of cost. Okay. Now introduction to S4HANA. So what happens earlier? So Arpita, when you are working on SAP, which database you were using earlier? ECC6 if you are working. Simple database, right? Nothing much.
Yes, yes.
So if I replace the database with the HANA database, what will that be called? Means you are now on the HANA database, but your application is on the application is different. So will that work?
No.
No, it should work, right? That will be called as suite on HANA. Suite on HANA
Oh,
means you have changed the database only, but everything is going in the same at the top level. Okay, means you have
okay.
the same number of tables like VBAC, all the different type of tables you have, you remain the same. It's a database you have changed that helps you to increase the performance. Is this point clear, Hans?
Yes.
Yes.
How does SAP evolve? ECC was the main first one. First they come with a suite on HANA. Suite on HANA means they only replace the database and top things remain the same. Then they came with the S4HANA. S4 means what did they did in S4? They reduced the tables, number of tables to be accessed. Okay, they came with a simple finance, simple logistic modules. What is the difference there? They have reduced the number of tables, improved the performance. So that is what S4HANA is. Okay, so S4 in S4 means S stands for simple, also called suite. Sometimes means if you're using a database as a HANA and top things it will be called suite. Fourth generation is now this is fourth generation. We have R1, R2, R3, and then now it comes as a fourth generation. So fourth is a fourth generation. So SAP Business Suite for S4 HANA is SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA. Okay, I think hope you are clear on this. How is the SAP allow? Because this is an interview question. So people ask, what is the suite on HANA? What is S4 HANA? What is the difference? The suite on HANA is only a database at a HANA level. Your top transactions remains the same. And when you go for S4 HANA, then it's a SAP has driven out new modules like simple logistics, simple finance that comes with the same thing, and that is S4 HANA. Is this point clear? Means this is a very
Yes.
important. Means if you say something that to interviewer that yes, I am transitioning to HANA. So basic first question it will ask to you, what do you mean difference? Okay. Okay. Now this is a journey. I told you it's earlier 1972 when they introduced it was R1. Now in 1979 they comes as R2. Then they 1992 they come as R3. In 2004 they has ERP. Then there were different versions, ECC 6, ECC 7.5. So they come with different version. S4HANA they came with 2015. So I meant earlier in the slide I said that 2010 they are building 2010 to 2015, but they are building on HANA. So that was a suite on HANA. There was not S4HANA. S4HANA came into picture in 2015. Okay. When they think that we can put the things in the simplified, see what does S4HANA? Simplified data model, new user experience. New user experience means you have a UI application, advanced processing, choice of deployment. So these are the options which S4HANA brought into picture. Okay. Now, so guys, this slide is a little incorrect. So it's R1. So I am just explaining you the architecture. When it was launched in R1, so it was having all the things at one place: database, application, presentation. So what happens if database is down? The complete application will be down. You cannot do anything, or anything is down. Means this is one box. If any of the part is down, then full application is down. And you don't know where the issue is. That is the database level, application level, presentation level. So it was difficult to manage. Okay. So this is the reason they thought of in differentiating these three layers one by one. So that then they come with the evolution with R2, R3, and then S4. So earlier in R1, the screen, SAP screen used to be this black screen. Are you able to see in this pointer, right, where I'm pointing it?
Yes.
So this used to be the black screen earlier in R1, okay, and this used to be a one box, okay. So there's a difficulty of managing, difficulty of knowing where the issue has occurred. So all those things were there. So they came with a different approach with R2. So they differentiated the database, but they kept the presentation and application layer at a one place. So differentiating this helps them to understand where the issue is. So database is not performing, or application is not performing. But still there is an issue that you cannot differentiate between the issues between presentation layer and application layer. Okay. And this also used to work on a black screen like this. You have to put the user ID, password, and then you have to go. It's very hectic and not friendly at that point of time. Okay. Then when they come with R3, they come with a GUI, and they are separated with the three things: client, application, data. They have separated these things. That is why it's called R3. What does 3 stand for? They have differentiated between the database layer, application layer, presentation. They have differentiated on all those things. Now it's easy for them to understand where the issue is. It's the presentation layer causing issue, application layer causing issue, database is causing issue. Is that clear? R3,
Yes.
R1, R2, R3. Okay.
Yes.
Now, when they come with R3, they came with the SAP GUI approach, where you have a GUI screen, you go and create a transaction, VA01, VA02, VA03. So you created a transaction here, right? Then comes with the S4HANA. S4HANA, see, if you say if S4HANA we cannot run, it cannot be open through GUI, it's wrong. S4HANA is still open. You can open it through GUI. You can create reports in S4HANA SE38 report. That is okay. But what is the purpose of SAP to bring S4HANA? They want you to go into a more good looking experience, more means customer experience. Like they have created Fiori applications here, where you don't want to have to go into a GUI application and click on GUI and run the transaction. You can go into, there will be a URL, you can go there, you can click on tiles, you can process them. Okay. Now this is what I was telling you, that the business suite on HANA and S4HANA. So this is the slide. I missed that this slide was there. So when you are working in the ECC 6, so there was SAP GUI and there was database, and you only used to use GUI here. UI was SAP GUI. There was no different GUI you are using. When you go to suite on HANA, your HANA database only changed. Okay, top system remains the same, and you used to access using a SAP GUI only. Okay, when you transition to SAP S4HANA, then your SAP is purely SAP HANA. Okay, and your application, you have a different modules like simple finance, simple logistics. These modules come into picture, and you have a ability to run it through using a Fiori application. So SAP recommends to use Fiori application in S4HANA. It's a SAP recommendation. Okay, but still the transitioning is going on. So at present you are able to run the SE38 reports and all those things. Okay. Now this is a very good concept, right? So this I have taken from the that SAP TechEd. So when they were transitioning, why they transition to the SAP HANA? What made them feel to transition to SAP? So they took one of their customers' database that was 598 GB, and they transitioned with the SAP HANA column. With HANA with column store and compression techniques. So they found that 598 GB data was turned into 118 GB data with only column storage and compression techniques. So you see that from 600 it has changed to 1/4. Is this a good move or not?
Yes.
Arpita or Han?
Yes.
They are
Yes. Yeah.
amazing. You have a 600 GB of data and you applied SAP HANA column storage techniques and the data is now 118 GB. Then they do the simplification of data model. What I they say simplification of data models? There were 1,000 tables here. Now they reduce the table like they did in S4HANA. They reduce the 1,000 tables to the only 100 tables. So they simplified the model. Okay, and they found that data has changed into 42 GB. Okay, now they have done some cleansing activities, means data which is actually required. Okay, there can be legacy data, means past 25 years data, which might not be required on a daily basis. They have archived something. So keeping the actual data, they found that it's an 8 GB data they have to operate on a daily basis. So you see the transition from 598 GB and they have reduced the 590 GB and you have got the 8 GB data to actually perform. So this is this is what they explain in the TechEd, that they named the client also which they did it, and they showed how progressively, how efficiently SAP has done this. Means they have reduced the all the chaos and they have reduced the data to 8 GB to work on. And this, when data is turned into 8 GB, then you require less database storage. Everything is less calculations, less hectic. So that is what. Okay. Now what is a so this is what same multi-core is, so when HANA has a multi-core CPU, means you have heard of dual core these CPU. So when a ABAP on HANA application comes, they have a multi-core CPU, so you can do the parallel processing, means you have different tasks and you can operate them on a parallel basis. Okay, all data is in memory, avoiding input and out. So this is what I told you, that every calculation is done in the RAM. So there is no in memory. That is not that they are pushing data to the application layer and doing calculation there. Okay. HANA performance is faster with process of storing data in column storage. This is what we have seen, that this column storage has already fastened the process, means how they can simplify the data and they run the process. Okay. Okay. So what was the earlier having? We having R3 was having 3 layers. Means they were for mostly application in R3 were following MVC architecture. Means there was a controller which makes a connection between a database and the presentation layer. So like if you have worked on web intro application or you have heard of web intro application, so that was a MVC application. There you have a component controllers and all those things which you create a view differently, you create a controller differently, you create a database differently, and you access that. So it was a MVC architecture. But with the evolution to HANA, so they have everything, all the calculation is done at the HANA database, and only the calculated data is getting pushed into the presentation server. What you see is already calculated at the database level, and then it is moved to the presentation level. Okay. So this is where we have already gone, that what is it's a combination of software and hardware. Okay, RAM, OLAP, OLTP, these are the same things which we have already discussed. Okay. So do you have any doubt on this? Means once you go through, if you have any questions on this, I can explain it to you again. Should I move?
Yeah.
Yes.
Please.
Now comes a row and column access. Okay. Okay, so I will explain you this with example. Okay, first this we'll study. So this let me we can reduce the size. Then if I have Excel open, So okay. So earlier, what happens in the SEC, we have a rows and columns. So if you have to display any data, you have to store in the row and my cursor is not moving. So give me a minute. So this is a table view when you were working in the ECC. You have a only row storage option where you are used to store data in this format. But slide is stop. Let me stop sharing and I will share it again. Earlier, we used to have a data in a table row format only, but with the coming of the things, we have changed it. We have now both the options in HANA, row storage and the column storage. Yeah, slide is not moving. Guys, you are able to see my screen now?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let me, is this short right or should I make it in a presentation mode?
I think you have to continue from the.
I will show you one example using Excel also for this. Okay. Just let's go back theoretically first. Okay, so we have already earlier that table values stored in such a format, but with the coming of row store still the values are stored in the same format. If we choose a table as a row store, if we choose a table as a column store, so each column is stored differently. Okay, so how does this help to ensure? I will show you an example.
How many years you have experience?
Yeah,
How many years you have experience?
I have experience around 13 years.
Working with, or you just giving training?
No, I am working. I work with working experience. So earlier, what used to have a data. So if we have records like this, okay, A, B, C, and A, C, C, C. So when we choose a row store, so all data is stored like this. Like this. So this is the way the data is stored. Okay. When you choose a column storage, then its data is stored in such a format like 1, 2, 3, 4 will come in a one line like this. 1, 2, 3, 3 or 4 means all the things are in a one line, and then the second column. So it's a column storage. So when does a row storage helpful or when does a column storage helpful? When a row storage is having you have a less data, then you have to use row storage. When you have to do some aggregate functions, means like adding these prices, then you have to go for a column storage. Means if that is in a one column, you can add it fast. This is what I have covered in this bit. Which to choose, column choice storage. When calculation is performed on individual or small number of columns, means when you see that there is a function like sum, aggregate, minimum, maximum has to be done on a table, right? Then that is a calculation, that is a column storage. few columns we have to search based on few columns, then we use a column storage. When we have huge number of records, then we use column storage. When we have less number of records, no aggregation, we go for column storage. So there is a link also which can help you to understand it better. I can explain it to you also on this. This is a link I have found out to you. This is a blog. Okay. Storage versus column storage. It gives you a simple example that what kind of data you do go for a storage or column storage. So it says that simply that if you are doing aggregations, okay, then you have to go for a column storage. If you are doing for only for seeing that, see, this table has a multiple aggregation, minimum, maximum, then you have to choose for a column storage. Okay, when you have only a test, you only want to see the data, then you can go for a row storage. So this link is in the slide. You can go through this link. If you think it's you need further information in this, then I can explain you further on this. So the thing which we have to remember is that if we are performing some functions like some aggregate, we have to go for a column storage. When there is a large data, we choose for column storage. Okay. When we have less data, we go for a row storage. Okay. And second benefit of HANA is that parallel processing. So I told you that if you query multiple things from the database, there were multiple processors, core 1, core 2. So there are work tasks, WTV say the work tasks. So they work parallelly on this. So that parallel processing also helps to improve the performance. Okay. So is this point clear? Means you want more explanation on these 2 points? This is the core, means what you have to understand why we have transitioned from the ACC to HANA. There is a compression techniques also, but I don't think that will be helpful for you to learn compression techniques. Means they are giving an index to every value and they are compressing the data, which is making HANA database faster. Okay, but on a real time, you will not be able to see that, but it should be known to you that at the backend compression techniques are also applied and there are multiple compression techniques on this. Am I clear on these points?
Yes.
Now, what we'll be covering when we choose a means from the second session, more or less, it will be a practical session. Okay, so we will be covering the ADT, Eclipse ABAP development toolkits. We will be creating a. I will be helping you with the setup of Eclipse. So and Naveen also will give you the everything setup that he will set up for you. I don't know, or you can set up for yourself, but you should be aware of the process to set up for yourself, because when you work for your client, if you don't know the setup, then it gives a different impression to the client that a person is not able to set up for himself and how much HANA he has worked. So from my point of view, you should be knowing how to set up a system yourself. You will be having your basis team to support you, but you should be aware what all things should have been. So we'll be explaining you everything on that part. What all softwares you required in Eclipse, how to do reporting in Eclipse. Okay, sample screens. We will be showing you different demos on the reports, looping and everything, new syntaxes, inline syntaxes, new paradigms, like new append statements that have come, new concatenate statements that have come. Okay, and this is a simple screen demo, right? That this is simple. We will be setting you now. Main topic comes with the CDS view. So CDS views has a different variations. Means they are parametric CDS view. It helps into have a different calculations at the database level. Means it's a big topic. CDS view is a big topic, and it's a most important topic when you are working on ABAP on HANA, because 60 to 70% of your work is done by CDS view only. Means you either you have a standard CDS view or you create a CDS view. Okay, so in CDS view we will be teaching you annotations. Okay, I will be helping you with the data DCL. Okay, DCL, but we will be helping you to the DMLs. We will be helping you with the AMDPs. Okay, so this is the CDS view of how the CDS view. But we will be helping you with the associations. But we are helping you with joins. Okay, all those things we will be letting you know. Okay, and this is sample screen, means they are AMDP. This is a AMD, but why AMDP has come into picture when CDS is already there? When do you go for a AMDP? When to go for a CDS? So these all questions are the interview questions. Means as an interviewer will ask you, why I have a CDS, I have an AMDP. Which will you choose? Will you choose for CDS? Will you choose for AMDP? And what are the scenarios where you have to make that choice? Okay. Then we will be ADBC is a small thing, means it's a connectivity part. But we will be taking a small session on this ADBC, but it's the major part will be on AMDP and CDS views. Okay. And then this is a simplification slide. When we say now that when it turns to SAP HANA, so they have simplified the things. Like earlier they used to have two different tables like VBUK and VBUP in a sales area. Now with coming to S4HANA, they have removed these tables. They have created a VBAC status which covers both the parts. Sales document status table VBUK and VBP are not present in S4HANA. So they have VBAC status embedded into VBAC. So this reduced their two tables and now they have only one table VBAC. Okay, for the status. Similarly, in different tables they have done the changes. It means VBAP also contains the VBAP status now. LIKP status. So they have removed the status tables. It means this is in the sales area. In finance also area, they have come with a table that AAC DOCA. They have removed the cluster tables and all those tables there to simplify the architecture. Okay. And then we will be covering gateway. So we will be covering the backend OData, where I will be helping you to show you the coding into different methods. OData service means get entity, get entity, get relationships. So this is the backend service where we create a URL and give to a Fiori developer to integrate into a Fiori application. So we will be going in deep into this gateway of OData session also, where we will be developing a code and OData service using CDS view, using entity, and we will be doing the same. And we will be giving that URL to the Fiori developer to integrate it. Okay. And this is means, do you have any questions now? Means this is, we have covered more or less on each topic. So
I didn't saw the. Are you covering also OPS?
Oops, we will be covering that. Oops, we have not shown because Oops is a part of both ECC and ABAP on HANA. But yes, Oops will be covered in this.
Okay.
We will be creating, doing Oops, we will be creating classes and all those things we will be creating, and we more or less we will be working on the Oops as well. So there's one more thing let me show to you, then we will have a question round.
Okay. One more question. I saw that you show how we can use the ABAP with Eclipse.
Yes.
So that was for me new. I had no idea that we can also do the ABAP with Eclipse. So
yes, you can create a ABAP through Eclipse. You have an option like you have a SC38 report now. So we have an option with ABAP program. Like if I search here now, we have a option ABAP program. Okay, this is your SC38 report. If you open this now, you can create your ABAP 38.
Is that only with C38?
Yes, it's
or
SC38.
With all transaction.
Yes. We don't have transaction in Eclipse.
Code, yes.
So we don't have like this is one of the SC38. I will show you into background also. Wait, this system. I have searched as retest. So this is a backend system, okay, which I have logged in. So you see Z test here, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now I will show you the same transaction in the Eclipse also. Okay. This is the same application here also in Eclipse.
Okay. How I can connect them ABAP with Eclipse?
Yes, you can connect. I will tell you in the session, or I think Naveen has to. Naveen, if you talk to Naveen, if he can set it for you, then it's okay. Else, I will teach you how to get connected to it. So this you see this code, and if I execute this code, it will be it is the same code. P bookers you see here.
Yeah.
Okay, and now if I go to SAP 30, so you see PE bookers here. If you see to the code level also, so you see and loop color 6 line 30 for you. If you see these lines, same I will show you in the Eclipse also. You go down, see same lines. So this is coming from the backend system. So you can create classes, programs here also. If you see new class, you can create a ABAP class also here in Eclipse.
Okay.
And when you go to RAP programming, then you don't have this ABAP program option. Okay. In the new RAP paradigm, that RESTful API programming, you don't have this option. But still the time you are connected to the on-premise. Okay, on-premise, you have this option. Okay. So we will going like I have created a basic CDS view to give you a look at how we are going. We will be explaining you all these annotations which we are using. Okay, it's practical use. Okay, and what does this mean? Okay, similarly, when if you want to like giving you a basic example, when we create a CDS view, it's we have given it a name this. So what is in the backend created? Backend, this name is created GTR1 CDS1. You can see this name here also, and you can see this name in the backend system also. See, okay. So you means everything we will be explaining you from the scratch. Okay, and oops also we will be covering it for you. Okay, so this is the thing, and this is a GTR1 CDS1. Already I have shown you the test program which is in the backend. If you want to execute it, I can show you executing. So you have a different option how you want to execute. Majorly we use a web application. Okay, so this is the data coming from S-flight table. Okay, similar data will come in the backend also. If I execute this table, I do wait, this data is coming. Okay, but the main thing is that you cannot edit that CDS view here. It will not allow you to edit. Okay, any changes you want to make to this, you have to go to your Eclipse and do the changes.
Okay. So I think that people use the sub self, not the Eclipse. I think.
What they are using?
Not the Eclipse. I think they mostly maybe use the subs. SAP access, the himself, not the Eclipse. They're not working on Eclipse. I think the most of time they're using the sub self.
I am not aware of that because I have worked for 3-4 clients and I am consistently working on Eclipse only. Earlier they have a HANA Studio, but now they have come. Everything is now integrated with HANA. And if you go to standard definition also, now see this is a standard SAP. I have closed that button. SAP is still standard. This tools.hana.com demand. Okay, this is SAP standard site, so they recommend it using Eclipse. This is SAP standard way. So you can see they are recommending using Eclipse. If you have some other tool, let me know. I will try. I have to do some R&D. I can tell you. But
yeah, sure,
if you learn, if you have learned through Eclipse, I guarantee you will be 70 to 80, no 90% of time you will find Eclipse on the.
Okay.
So any more questions? Anything, Dakpita?
So under one question, under this course, Eclipse will be also covered.
Eclipse will be installed. Yeah, I will teach you how to install Eclipse.
Okay.
Naveen will help you installing the setup. But if you need, means if setup is installed and you still want to learn it, I will tell you the steps. But I cannot do it in front of you because it's already installed for me. But I will, if you have your personal desktop, if you get stuck somewhere, I will definitely help you. But personal laptop it should not be some firewall restricting you, because there is one button, this install new software. Here you need your IT access if you are working on your official laptop. Okay, and that does not run. Okay, and in
Okay.
that point of time, I or you cannot do anything. Okay, so when you install a place, you will not see anything ABAP. ABAP comes only when you install new software. Okay. Is
Okay.
this one? Okay. So this is one. Any other questions? So guys, I think then we are done with today's session. If you still have questions, you can reach out to Naveen. Naveen will direct.
How long take this course, and how many hours per day or per week? Is that only on the weekend or all the day?
So we are planning. We will having a 1 hour session. Most probably on 3 to 4 days in a week, but we are planning. And what will the course content will depend on it. If you want to see classes, oops, web, all those things, then it will. We have to prepare a material and we will then able to show. Because ABAP, more or less ABAP on HANA, we work on these things only. Two things which we have changed is CDS, AMDP. These things have changed. So we will be giving you overview on the ABAP things also, and then we will be moving into the ABAP on HANA.
Any weekend batches there? Actually, I asked that time. They told there will be Saturday, Sunday batch also.
Okay, I will talk to Naveen on that part.
Yeah.
Tell your preferences to Naveen. Okay, and I
Okay.
will definitely help you to make arrangements that way.
Okay. Okay.
And the
And if
day,
you need Saturday Sunday batch, I will take it for 2.5 hours, and that will be fine. Means 4 hours.
for me, I have a little time difference. So 4 hours of 30 hours we have different. So maybe some days I cannot join because of other activities. So how you help me with this?
So I think Naveen is recording all sessions. So he will be giving you recording on this, and if you have some doubts, you can direct to Naveen. Naveen can push the doubts to me, and I can support you in the next sessions.
Okay. Okay.
Naveen, are you there in the call? Naveen? So I think Naveen will reach out to you, but there will be a recording of each session. And if you have some doubts,
you didn't. What about the payment? How much you asking for this course?
Means that Naveen can only help you here. I don't have anything. I am just a trainer. So Naveen will be helping you.
I send my email address to you, so please share the content with me.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Okay. I think then Naveen will get in. Naveen, are you there in the call? Naveen, I think he is there. Naveen, can you answer these questions about the training? I think I will, Hans, I will ask him to connect with you offline, and you can discuss all your doubts there and let him know. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Arpita. Thank you.
Thank you, Mani.